What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Try and Stop Me podcast. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Colleen, but you can call me Kyle. Every single Monday, we have a brand new episode. Some Mondays, it's with some truly incredible guests on the show where they're sharing their valuable life lessons that they've learned along the way, whether in their business or maybe in life or both. And on the off Mondays, it's just you and I, like today, hanging out for some quick solo time so that we can motivate you, challenge you, inspire you, shake you the hell up, and help you grow outside of your comfort zone so that you can get after your own dreams, so that you can really call yourself out on the stuff that's maybe holding you back. And hearing really people's journeys is super helpful. It's helped me in the past, which is a main reason why I've also started the show. So I hope you get a ton of value out of this show. Today, I want to dive into something like if you follow me on Instagram, I'll leave my handle in the show notes. But following me on Instagram, you'll know that I started the coaching sessions with Stephanie Virchaux. She's been a past guest on the show. If you haven't listened to her, go ahead and check her out because she is truly phenomenal. So I started the journey of really, I hired her as a coach. We do group sessions. She holds private sessions as well. And let me tell you something about the growth process of coaching. It is hard as hell. It really is hard. But it's wonderful hard. Like, I don't know how to explain that any better. It's something where it's really pushing me to think to a different level than I've ever really thought about, which is, hey, the whole reason of coaching, right? They're the professionals. They're there to help us, to really push us outside of our comfort zones, exactly what we do here. So I'm learning stuff from Stephanie that really had to call myself out on my own shit, and I wanted to bring it to you so that maybe it can help you really think about the stuff that maybe is holding you back, or really starting to understand, like, if you're in a stage of growth right now, if you're in a season where you're leaving maybe, not to say yourself behind, but to say like the parts of yourself that need a little bit of tweaking, right? Like, I know for myself personally, quickly, like, I am somebody that holds myself to very high standards, very, very high standards. I like to hold myself accountable. I like goals. I like checklists. I like to know and feel accomplished by the end of the day. So coaching for me is to a point where I know, like, the motivation side of me, there's sometimes like I don't want to go to the gym, right? Like, that's motivation, but like the motivation behind like the stuff that I really need to break through, like the stuff that's like I give myself excuses, and like, we give ourselves the best excuses in the book, right? Like, we're like, yes, tomorrow I am totally not ordering from Uber Eats. I'm totally going to just buy all these vegetables and cook all of this food and eat super healthy. And then the next day happens and you're like, it's 8 o'clock at night, and I think I need to order Uber Eats because 'cause I'm starving and my stomach is eating through itself, right? Like, yeah, it's almost like putting the self mask on, thinking that's, gonna make the entire self better, or like drinking the water infused with fruit because you just had, like, 19 glasses of wine the night before. Like, we know that stuff is not really gonna help us. It makes us feel a little bit better, right? So when I hired Stephanie, the coaching, like, I really obviously want to get to a point and like want to push myself because I want to see what the levels I can get to. I don't even know what's behind doors A through Z in my future, but I want to know that I have the mindset and the ability that whatever door opens and whatever comes through that door, I am ready and stable and able to conquer it, to take it on, to whatever the case is, or to walk through that door confidently, knowing that I got my shit together. I'm a badass woman and I can walk through this door and accomplish and take over. So that's why I hired Stephanie, and the coaching has just been phenomenal. But here is what today's show is about. The growth process is something where it is delicate. It is something where I feel like I am on a roller coaster. Like, last week, I was on a high. I was great. I was dancing around. I was wonderful. And then Monday and Tuesday of this week, I literally, and I don't show it really, right? Like, but internally, kind of was a little down. Kind of had like that anxiety, kind of had those like old self defeating thoughts that we all talk about, right? Because we're human. And the graceful part about being human is recognizing those things, but now learning the tools, which is important to understand where you're at accept where you're at, love yourself for where you're at right now, and know that you're taking the step forward in your growth journey, in your journey towards your future, that you're actively trying daily to do something for yourself. So for me this week, and I want you to try it too, and I know journaling sounds so corny, but I really started doing journaling towards the end of the week, right? And it's something where I have talked about in the past, and it's something where I haven't really been too up on it. I do it once in a while, but more actively daily now because it's a part of the homework with the joy method, right? Like it keeps me accountable on the stuff that I find is hard because journaling sometimes you let your pen go and all of a sudden you're like tears are rolling down your face and you're like, why am I crying? I'm happy. Like, what's going on here? But put some classical music on, and I've never been this type of person. So if you're like, "Kyle, I'm rolling my eyes at you, girl, like I'm not going to do this." Please, I'm challenging you this week to do it. I literally type into Spotify calm writing music. I put my headphones in that I really can't hear anything else. I light the candles and I just get a blank piece of I have my trusty journal, right? You can buy them on Amazon wherever you want. And literally, you can find prompts or you can just start writing about your day, whatever you want to do. But I want you to try that because if you're really on this growth process and you're really on this, like, I want to hit all these goals and I want to accomplish all this stuff, you got to do the work internally. And getting stuff out on paper for me is so much more therapeutic than I think talking sometimes is great too, but if I can get it out daily on paper of my own stuff that's in here that's holding myself back and I can rewrite my own narrative every single day, that for me has been super helpful. So if you can rewrite your own narrative of like, I found myself to be insecure in this moment, or I found myself to be like, I can't do that in this moment. Write it down. And then when you get home or on the weekend, start really diving deeper into that. Like, what was the reasoning why? And what is going to be the way that you can flip that in the future and talk to yourself in a third person? The beautiful language that you will then put down on paper on third person instead of I, is has been life changing for me, really. Of just saying, like, Colleen is, Colleen will, Colleen it holds your like, is this person type of thing has been incredible to go back and read. It's really like moving because you're then talking about like the future self that you want to become, which is huge. And growth, like I'm saying, think of growth like, okay, let's say we're planting something in the spring. We all do it. It's springtime now, baby. We're all getting our flower pots ready. We are ready to go. You are outside. You want to make all your flowers pretty, right? If you've done any type of gardening, which I think hopefully most of us have done at least something, maybe in school or whatever the case is, you know, at the bottom, like when you take it out and it's like this pretty little tiny flower right now, before you put it in the soil in your pot, you have to break up the roots, right? You have to like mash, like just a little bit so that they can then grow. So think of your growth process as the journey of you're planting yourself. You are planting and taking yourself and putting yourself into this beautiful pot or this beautiful ground that you can continue to grow and evolve and become this gorgeous flower or gorgeous bush, whatever it turns into. But you gotta break through the roots first. Because if you don't break through the roots, they're not really going to grow to their full potential. And then maybe some leaves will die off. So think of your growth and your journey in the same way of that. Breaking through some of those roots right now are going to be able to help you, and that's why journaling, elevate you into a point where you are able to understand and really blossom into this person that you are becoming. But you got to do the work now. You got to really call yourself out on your shit that you're making excuses for and push yourself to a point of uncomfort, not tragic uncomfort, but really like, I'll be honest, Netflix and Grey's Anatomy at night is the way I calm down. Like, after the gym, I get home by, like, 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30, I'm taking a shower, and then it's 9 o'clock, and it's been a long day, and I just put Netflix on, and that's a wrap, right? Like, but I've been a lot more mindful now with the joy method of with the coaching, where I have to do self-reflection work. I have to do some type of meditation, I have to do some type of journaling, and the past few days, it's been really peaceful when I go to sleep, like very mindful of myself. And I think it really all comes down to me breaking through those roots. So if you're in this growth process, give yourself the grace. I want you to go on this growth process with me. Like, really start calling yourself out and saying, like, there's active ways that I hustle every single day. I make all these sales calls, but I'm forgetting about myself. Call yourself out of really, where are you forgetting about yourself? Where are you not checking in, and where are you like letting yourself off the hook? For me, letting myself off the hook was like just getting into bed after the long day. Taking that extra half hour to do something to really check in on myself for the day. Why don't we all do that? There's no reason why we can't, at the end of the day, just kind of like restart ourselves. I put on Grays right after that, right? Like, girl, it's not going anywhere. It's on Netflix. Like, I can watch that at any time. But what I'm learning in this process so far, and we're in week 2, there's going to be a lot of weeks of this, of growing and learning, and I'm sure crying and yelling and, getting yelled at probably for not following through some stuff. But it's really the growth process, and like learning that the most important person, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face, is you. And if you're not checking in with yourself after the craziness of the day, after the chaos of the day, either starting yourself off or checking in with yourself at night, and let's be realistic, it's going to be hard and you're going to feel like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, this is frou frou stuff. Like, there's no need for, okay, Kyle, we're not going to, everybody just tells me to journal. There's a reason why. There really is, because when we're alone in our own thoughts, sometimes those can be the most devastating, self-defeating nonsense bullshit that we tell ourselves, and then we go out to the rest of the world and we're like, "Hey, you're incredible, you're beautiful, you're the best, ba, and then you can't tell yourself that? Try to journal a little bit. Try to go on this growth process. If I gotta go through the discomfort, I want you to come with me. No, I really want you to really check yourself and see if it could be helpful. It might be very helpful, and really understanding, like, growth is something that's supposed to be uncomfortable. We can't get to the next level of ourselves unless we're willing to really call ourselves out on the stuff that's really holding us back. Like, I am super negative sometimes. We all come from the state of like, I hate everybody. Everybody is so stupid and annoying and dumb, and everybody is so wrong, and I am just so right. And most of the time, when those thoughts for me come up, it's because I'm unhappy in some part of my life. So I'm taking that out and just projectile vomiting at everywhere, just like making everybody else littler than I am, because I really feel like the little one. So if you think that the journaling and the process won't help you, I really want to challenge you that it does help you, because you start really recognizing the parts that you need to kind of show up for yourself for, which is going to be a beautiful, beautiful process. So that's all I got for you today. Ride the waves of the journey. Start really trying to tap in and recognizing, and maybe, like I said, buy yourself a journal so you can start to really call yourself out, give yourself grace, and really fall back in love with the most important person that matters in this world. And that's you at the end of the day, first and foremost. Everybody else should come second, because if you're not whole and you're not happy and you're not working actively to be okay in here inside, how are you going to show up for the family? How are you going to show up for the world? How are you going to treat the grocery clerk if you're stressed and anxiety ridden and whatnot? Try to check in with yourself. Getting to your goals, money, titles, all of that stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I love goals. I love motivating you, but challenging you is also really calling ourselves out on our personal stuff, because we want to be overall just incredible humans who recognize when we're hurting, recognizing when we're happy, and how we can help and lift each other up. And we're going to do just that by learning about ourselves. So, like I said, that's what I got for you. Next week, we are going to have a great episode. We got Lester Morales on the show next week, and he's going to share pretty much very similar traits that what we always talk about. He loves motivation. He is very active and he hires coaches for himself. So I'm sure he'll drop some great gems from his coaches. But check in next week. I cannot wait to see you there. And let me know if you need anything. If you want to talk about anything, I'm always available on Instagram. You can DM me anytime. If you got any value from the show, or if you're like, okay, I'm going to start doing this, take a screenshot of this and post it and tag me in it so I know that I can hold you accountable and that you're holding me accountable to becoming our best selves. I'll see you next week.